how did we get here? How did we get here? Stay tuned to find out. Yep, you read that right. Bone broth ramen. Hi, beautiful people. Less than a week ago, if you're hearing any noises in the background, you'll find out soon enough what's making that sizzling sound, if you can hear that sizzling sound. But anyway, I'm super hungry and it's Sunday and I'm making lunch. And just a few days ago, this would have been on Tuesday, I would have uploaded a video of what I was having to eat, and you would not believe, just 5 days later, the way I'm eating has drastically changed. You would not believe it. So as you guys know, most of you by now, once you follow me, once you subscribed, you know by now the reason why I began eating just pure veggies and fruits, a vegan diet. And I use the term vegan because it's the only way to quickly explain what that means. No dairy. So no dairy, no meat, right? So no fish. Like right away when you hear vegan, no animal products at all. So it was just an easy way for me to let you know how I eat. But typically I don't like labels. I don't like labeling myself a vegan. But yeah, so I began, veganism because of my skin, right? Most of you guys know that. I developed psoriasis and eczema together as an adult. They both came on me during COVID 2020. It just came on me like a ton of bricks. And so currently I have eczema and psoriasis, and they are both triggered by very different things. Eczema might be triggered by something I eat or something I touch, whereas psoriasis is triggered by stress and when it's that time of the month, like little things like that will trigger my psoriasis. The eczema is pretty much curable based on how you eat, whereas the psoriasis, it's not curable. It's always going to remain inside of me. It's just that it will not flare up as much, but it lives within me. And it had lived within me all this time. It just didn't have a trigger yet, right? So anyway, I became a vegan to deal with my skin issues. And that was like 4 years ago, right? And probably about 2 years in, I decided my body was feeling for fish. And I decided to listen to my body and I started back eating fish, right? I still would not touch meat. The idea of meat, the idea of eggs, I would just, even cheese and butter, I was like, no, only fish I will add. Probably by the 3rd year, I wanted cheese. My body was telling me, hey, you want some cheese? So I had the cheese, But the point is, during my entire time of being vegan, I still had flare-ups on my skin and really, really itchy flare-ups. Could not sleep at night. And this is very recent, like just 2 weeks ago. Couldn't sleep all week because every night I would be itching. And it had been that way since it first came on in 2020, right? So I had been a vegan for at least 2 years, saw no change. I added back fish and cheese, saw no change. And the last video I made a salad. And literally right after eating that salad, I had a patch of rash. A patch of rash just appeared on my leg, very itchy. And I was pissed off. I was like, why? Why do I have a patch of rash? Like I hardly ate anything in that meal. But something said to me, I think it's the quinoa. I had a feeling, because I had quinoa in the salad. And I had a feeling that it was the quinoa that triggered that patch of rash, right? So that was Tuesday. By the time Wednesday morning, I just woke up with an epiphany. I felt like God was speaking to me. This might sound crazy, and whatever it is you believe in, I just felt like my conscience, that inner voice, God, whatever you want to call it, the universe, something spoke to me and said, eat meat. Eat meat. So from Wednesday until today, Sunday, I have been eating strictly meat. I don't want to label myself, but currently I'm a carnivore. I'm eating a carnivore diet, strictly meat. I don't want to lose weight, so 1 meal per day, I am willing to add sweet potato, pumpkin or carrots. That's it. No pasta, no rice, no bread, no cricks, no cookies, no nothing. No lettuce, no tomato, nothing. All right, just meat. No sauces, no barbecue sauce, no ketchup, no mustard. Meat. So all I've been eating this week is meat, beef. I've had mainly beef and chicken, but I can have beef, chicken, pork, lamb, liver, kidney, right? I can have all that stuff. And eggs and bone broth. The bone broth is awesome. And butter, right? So all week this week, from Wednesday to Sunday, I have only had beef, fish. Oh, I could have fish and shell food as well. So I've had beef, fish, eggs, bone broth, lots of butter, and yeah. So it's been 5 days, and I don't really have an update for you. So far, my skin is not really angry. I'm not trying to jinx it by talking about it too soon. Let me knock on some wood. But yeah, I will keep you guys posted. But yeah, I intend to continue this carnivore diet for a month. And once I get to the month, then I'm gonna extend it to 2 months. Once I get to 2 months, I'm gonna extend it to 3 months. Once I get to the 3-month mark, I'm gonna slowly reintroduce, lettuce, fruits, and I would reintroduce some carbs as well once I get to the 3-month mark. And the purpose of that slowly reintroducing is so that I can monitor my skin and see what I am allergic to. And so the goal is to get back to a regular standard diet, mixing meat, fish, legumes, lettuce, greens, and everything else, right? I want to end up back in a normal eating habit, but just healthier and, controlled portions, and not eating anything that I know would trigger my skin. So I'm currently a carnivore, trying to figure out what's happening with my skin. So today I am making bone broth ramen, minus the ramen. Let's go. So before we get to this point of making quote-unquote ramen, you would have had to make your bone broth ahead of time. And it's pretty simple. You're gonna need a pressure cooker, and you're gonna need some sort of meat. So it could even be a chicken broth. But if you're doing bone broth, then you need like a cow heel, or even beef, or even lamb. You put it in your pressure cooker, seasoned with some water, you pressure cook it, and that broth that's left behind is your bone broth. Put it in the fridge and use it when you're ready. So now that I'm ready, I would have put some ghee to melt. Then I would have added some homemade fresh green seasoning and some homemade pepper because I like it spicy. Then here is my bone broth. As you see, the fat would have gotten hard on top. But yeah, that fat is going to melt back in there. So I would have added some chive, flavor pepper and onions, and salt. Now this is strictly for seasoning purposes, just to bring out a nice flavor. I'm not going to consume that, but I do want that flavor in there. Once it's bubbling, you lower the heat. I have some eggs boiling simultaneously. I would have lowered the heat and let that just simmer in the hot water. And I have some lamb links grilling. And like, I swear to you, it's that simple. Once everything is done, and it's done in like 15 minutes, you just add your bone broth. Like I said, minus the things that are in there just for flavor. You just want the broth only. You add your bone broth to the bowl, and then you just toss in your eggs and your sausage, right? And like I said, I'm having lamb sausage, and grass-fed and as organic as possible. We're trying to limit the processed foods, all right? So yeah, this is just it. Then you just sprinkle some chive on top there, and you have no idea how tasty this was. How simple and tasty this was. Trust me. So yeah, guys, yep, I'm not crazy. I'm not confused. I'm just trying to figure out what's happening with my body. It's been 4 years trying to figure this out, and this is where it's led me. It's led me to meat. So if you think I'm kidding, I'm gonna taste it in front of you guys. If you think I'm just lying to you guys, no, I'm not. Bone broth ramen, quote unquote, minus the ramen. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. Seriously. So good. Bye guys.